Hello.
Hi.
Not going to say good morning because I don't know what time it is. It's a really sunny, nice day, a bit crisp. And we are going to be talking about our 2 years full-time in our van.
Yeah, what a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it has been amazing. We've really enjoyed it, haven't we?
Yeah, learned a great deal.
We learnt a lot about each other.
Yeah, we learned a lot about each other.
Top tip, don't get a van and live with somebody that irritates the crap out of you. Just don't do it. So that's just definitely one thing. Don't buy a van full-time and live in it if you don't have the best relationship with your other half, because it is tough at times.
Yeah. We meet a few people where the other half, or one half, enjoys it when the other half isn't there, and vice versa. You know, when they go to work, it just gives them that break.
Yeah.
We've had our comings together, shall we say, but on the whole, yeah, it's been great, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it has been great. It's been very tiring.
It has, yeah.
Very tiring.
It's hard work. So, you know, the Instagram, if you like, is all sunshine and roses, and you know, this is what we did, and this is wow, and this is woo, and everything else. The reality, on the other hand,
well, I'd say most of it is like that.
it is, yeah.
But I'd say probably 80% of it is like that, and there's 20% of it, you know, in some countries it's easier than others to live van life. The accessibility to empty your toilet, to get water, to get LPG,
to park,
to empty your grey waste, all those sort of things. In some countries, there's not one country we've come across where it's all more or less perfect. I think the closest was Turkey.
Yeah, probably
Turkey.
the closest was Turkey.
Yeah. And some of the European countries like Spain, France come very close, Portugal come very close. But yeah, there's not one of those where one thing was easier than others. And I think the only thing with Turkey was a few times was LPG, trying to get LPG a few times.
Yeah, and that was because they changed the law rather than anything that we could or couldn't do.
Yeah. I'd say the hardest country is
UK.
The UK.
Sorry,
the UK is so hard. People's attitude towards us, trying to get anything. To be honest with you, if you want everything, you need to go on to a site. And we have created this van, we've adapted it, should we say, to be full-time off-grid, because that's what we prefer to do. We do go on to campsites occasionally, especially if we want washing and stuff done. And in the UK, we try not to, but sometimes we have to. But thankfully, we've got a big network of friends and family that help us out on that one. And during the really hot summer that we had this year, it was unbearable. It was unbearable. So we did spend a few weeks with our son, didn't we? In his spare room, because it was just too.
We've been now in the van, as we say, two years, and we've been to 2019 or so. Yeah. We've enjoyed it. The van itself has been uber reliable. We've had no problems at all.
No, so comfortable.
So comfortable. It's great. One thing that Vanlife doesn't work well with is wet and damp. If you're out in the rain, you're going to have the proper clothes, it's not a problem. But getting them back and then getting them dry, there's not a lot of drying space in the van.
That's why we've got the separate shower and toilet. That we put hooks up, and then we put like wetsuits and coats in there, put the heating on for a little bit, and that's not been too bad. But if you haven't got that, I really don't know how you manage, to be honest with you. Washing, if you don't washing and it gets a bit damp or the weather changes, we've had quite a few times we've had the washing strung up in here, haven't we? That can be a bit of a pain. So if you haven't gone to laundrette, or sometimes you go to laundrette and you've put so much money in there, I'm not putting another €2 in a dryer, and then you come away with some of the stuff a bit damp, so it just defeats the object somewhat. But that's about it, really. Honestly, hand on heart, if I can't think of anything, I will put it in the comments or put it in the description, because at the moment I really can't think of anything. Would I recommend it? I'd say yeah. I would say to you, if you're selling your house to do it, please do a trip beforehand if you possibly can.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't sell your house if you've not lived or done a long trip, because doesn't suit everybody. You'll be surprised the amount of people we've come across that have done one trip and just, this ain't for us, and they've sold stuff, everything, and you're like, what are you going to do? You know.
That's it. I mean, okay, we sold our house and we did it. That said, we'd spent our holidays camping. You know, we had when we had our house and everything else, we had a big 7-seater car, and we could chuck it all in the back of that, and we could go camping. We've done in our 7-seater, stopping off occasionally to put the tent up, but pretty much living out the car. So we knew what we were getting into. We knew what it was like, and this is a step up from that.
Yeah. And also, like, you know, would we have sold the house if we hadn't had to have a house? We was lucky enough to have 2 houses. Like, we released equity from one house to buy the second house. So we was lucky to do that, and we know we are lucky in that respect. So I'm not sure Kevin would have been too keen to have sold the house if we hadn't had the second house, which we get rental income from, as well as like a few little bits and bobs that we both do.
Do your research and make sure you know, be 100%. If there's any niggly doubts, walk away or work them out.
Yeah.
Because the niggly doubts will get bigger, and suddenly it's just no fun anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Have we been bored?
A couple of times.
We
found it best when we were going around. Maximum driving time, a couple of hours. 2 or 3 hours.
3 at a push.
3 at a push. And maximum amount of driving continuous, or so, you know, 2 or 3 hours driving, then a break, and maybe a little bit more driving, then the next day you're driving, and the next day you're driving. So again, only 3 or 4 days driving if you need to get somewhere. And sometimes you get somewhere and you park up. And for me, 2 or 3 days and I'm done. I can't really do much more than that. And you know, weather permitting, that's the other thing. We did get stuck a couple of times with the weather.
We can occupy ourselves. We've got games, there's stuff that we do. I do a lot of writing, Kevin, with his photography. There's a lot of stuff, but sometimes you're just like, another mountain, another sea scenery, you know. Unless there's anything specific about that, it can start rolling into one. Would I do such a long trip in such a short time? So we did 19 countries in 9 months. Would I do that again? Not so sure.
No.
But then with the Schengen shuffle and the weather changing, that's why we had to do what we did. Plus we stayed in Portugal maybe for 2 or 3 weeks longer than we should have done.
So we were chasing the clock a little bit.
We was chasing the clock and the weather.
So if we, for example, if we were going to go back to Turkey, clearly we wouldn't start off in Spain.
No.
So, you know, if we're going to go back to Turkey, then we'd probably, I don't know which way we'd go. I don't know whether we, knowing what we know about Germany, depending on the time of the year, I'd probably go back the way we came back from Turkey. I don't know.
No, there's a couple of countries I'm not overly interested in seeing again.
Okay, so maybe we could go into Germany and then come across, because I'd like to go back to Albania, spend a bit of time in there.
Yeah, Albania.
North Macedonia.
We didn't do North Macedonia.
Okay,
we did Montenegro.
Montenegro. Yeah. We got a bit of an unfair experience in Montenegro.
Yeah. We arrived, it's pouring with rain. The next day it snowed, and we were sort of like snowed in.
Yeah.
And then it rained from there on in, wasn't it? Trying to get out.
So yeah.
Definitely Montenegro.
Montenegro.
Favourite country?
Oh, it's got to be Turkey.
It's
Sorry.
got to be Turkey.
It's got to be
Turkey.
I mean, Germany comes a close second.
Yeah, Austria was breathtaking. It was like, wow. It was wow. But that was the only thing going for it, in my opinion. It was so expensive. So expensive.
I mean, Turkey, Germany, they're a bit chalk and cheese. They're just
they are.
totally opposite ends of the
different.
but they are just just amazing places.
I think also because we felt the most at home in those countries. I mean, we thought, we wasn't planning to go to Germany. When we popped in there, we thought, oh, this is nice, maybe we'll stay a bit. After about 3 or 4 days, what we're staying, and we ended up spending a whole month there, which we was heading towards home, so there was other countries that we could have gone into. We could have gone into Lithuania and that, just to say it's another country, but we was enjoying Germany so much, and got some really fond memories. Absolutely stunning. We went to the Black Forest, that walk and all that sort of thing. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, put Germany on your list. And Vanlife is okay there. They pretty much allow you to park anywhere-ish. If you are on your way to somewhere, they let you stay overnight, sort of thing. And they did have quite a few motorhome stops and stuff, didn't they? A lot of them were free, and that they were so busy though. The Germans love Germany, so like where you rocked up, there would be loads of German in motorhomes and that, weren't there?
Yeah. Well, we did find in Germany, if you go to the popular places, the parking was expensive, but you know, supply and demand. So what?
Yeah.
There's always a place just around the corner, just down the road. That's
Least favourite country you can think of?
No, I can't. I mean, I don't think there was any country that I was in that's like, I don't want to be here, let's go. First impressions, was it Romania or Bulgaria? The ones where there were... Bulgaria.
Because I liked Romania, we liked Romania.
Yeah, we did like Romania. Yeah, sorry, yeah. So Bulgaria, again, we might be doing them an injustice.
I think we'd have to go.
You know, the weather wasn't great, but there was no people. And when we spoke to the people that we met, they said that people aren't outdoors people. If it's cold, they stay indoors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fair dues, and then you go next door to Romania, and
completely different.
They're completely different.
From the time we was on the ferry, even crossing the border,
they're outdoors all the time. So,
and like it was because it was like January.
Yeah.
December, January. No, I don't know.
February.
Oh, I don't know. Early spring. There was not a lot of the motorhome places open. A lot of the park for nights were where they cleared the snow were full up with snow. So that was the country we found the most, trying to find a park up and facilities. To be honest, water and stuff, that was a bit of an issue as well there, and it just wasn't very open. That's the only way to say it. I mean, when we did get to speak to people, they were fine. The people seemed to be fine. But yeah, I think we need to go at a different... And it was one place I was so looking forward to going. But even on that resort in the Black Sea, wasn't opening. But there was a lot of building work going on. The pandemic had hit them quite badly, hadn't they? And some countries we went through, it didn't affect them whatsoever. So, yeah. So, travelling while there's a pandemic going on, probably won't do that again.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
One pandemic every...
A lifetime.
Once a lifetime, that's enough, thank you very much.
It's been a bit of a... So, what's our future plans, my love?
Well, so you might have worked it out. We've been most of the way around Europe. There's Scandinavia. Now, you really, unless you're dedicated, you really don't want to be going Northern Europe in the winter. I mean, okay, if that's your thing, if you want to do the sledding and you like the dark nights and you want to go watch the stars and stuff, then bring it on. But, sorry.
It's not for us.
It's not for us. This van's not built for it.
No.
I really don't want to go through 12 feet of snow and minus whatever.
No.
So, yes, we will do Northern Europe.
Yes.
But that's going to be a summer trip.
It will be.
And again, we're going to take our time.
Probably get visas to stay longer.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to see if we can work out something, because the visa situation, that's the worst thing at the moment. This 90-day Schengen thing.
It is a pain.
We spent 90 days in Turkey and we barely scraped the surface. It doesn't look that big on a map, but it's huge. So we're going to look into see if we can get something longer than the 90 days. I'm not too sure, because at the moment Schengen doesn't offer it to you.
No. We'd have to do each country, which we'll sort out near the time, but that's a plan for in a year or two.
Yeah.
Probably 2.
Yeah, so from, if we're going to discount Europe from there, there's a couple of other continents we want to go to. We want to go over to the Americas. We want to do Canada. We want to do the US. Ideally, we'd like to go all the way down to the bottom of South America. I'm
so wanting to see Costa Rica. It's my #1 destination. Yeah. 2 Japan, 3 was Croatia. So I've done Croatia now. Tick that off my box.
And there's also we want to go to Australasia, New Zealand, and all around there. And there's India.
And the rest of Asia.
Yeah, and the rest of Asia. Yeah. So we've had a look, because we know you can transport your van. And we've looked into the costings, and historically it wasn't overly expensive when we were first looking it up. I won't say it was cheap by any stretch of any imagination, but it was doable. But since the pandemic has happened, all those costs have gone through the roof. So we are going to New Zealand.
We are going to New Zealand. But yeah, that's a journey in itself. Oh gosh, that's a journey in itself. The last time we went to New Zealand, we went via America, San Francisco, but we're going the other way. But you'll have to find out where we went, where we landed, and our experiences, and how we got on the plane.
Yeah,
all 3 of them.
Yeah. No, personally, not looking forward to it.
It's not. But I'm so excited.
It's don't get me wrong. I enjoy being on planes. It's not a problem. It's just the duration. Because when we came back from New Zealand, we always said, yeah, we're going to go back, but we're not going to go back with long flights. And guess what?
It's okay if you ain't got a lot of money, but you know, it's okay if you've got a lot of money. Sorry, but we ain't got a lot of money, so we have to do what we have to do. There is a budget, and
there may be a couple of other places in between. You never know.
You have to subscribe.
You'll have to subscribe
and hit the notification bell to see where we're going. But it will be New Zealand first.
New Zealand first. And if you're in that part of the world, it seems a little bit pointless to come all the way back. Will we take the van? No. Sorry, we can't. We checked it out.
It's just so expensive.
And, you know, it costs... I'll give you some idea when I was working it out. It was about £6,500.
One way.
One way. And that was just to New Zealand. And then you've got to get it out of New Zealand and put it somewhere else, and then you've got to get it out somewhere, and eventually you've got to bring it back.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of costing that we cannot justify. No. And that's just the van. That's not us.
That's not us going.
We've still got to get there.
Yeah.
So...
And just a lot of people will be saying, oh yeah, but you can go on that boat and go with the van and what have you. Those places fill up really, really quick, and they were quite reasonable. But because of the popularity of van life and people YouTubing, those costs have gone up as well. So if you do manage to get them, and we was talking to somebody back in the summer, and they said they looked into it. It was like a 3-year wait, and that was the girls, and they were just saying that they couldn't at the time because of the dog put their name down, because they wasn't too sure what was going to be happening with said dog, etc. So that's a lot of forward planning. And then would they still have the same van? Who knows? Would we have the same van? Who knows? And what have you. But we couldn't justify, at least, so probably it would have been including our flights, including getting the van to the destinations we wanted and back again. It was about 20k.
And that's a lot of money to do that.
And that's not with insurance. Insurance was, you don't even want to know about insurance. It's like, what? Well, you don't need a new engine. It's like, what? Yeah, so we are going to be flying, and when we get to New Zealand, we are going to be buying a van, and it'll be nothing like this, because they don't have anything like this. And if they do, but they are the price of a house.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot smaller scale, but we're still going to be doing van life some way or another. But we're going to be travelling to New Zealand. We're going to spend 6 months there, just shy of 6 months there. We're going to see our kids who we haven't seen for nearly 3 years. and we're going to see as much as New Zealand as we can in that 6 months, and then we're going to go over to Australia, and we're not going to tell you too much more because you'll have to wait and see.
And we don't know ourselves, to be honest with you.
No, we've not planned too much.
The beauty of getting a van over there is it's all, you know, the van is okay, so they still drive on the left over there, so it's not a problem. So we can get a van over there, and once we're done with the van over there, we can sell the van over there, and then we can move on. And that way, the cost it would be to use the van over there is just the difference between buying it and selling it.
Yeah. And so, like, for you guys that don't know, like, cars imported over there, like, you know, you've got to be quite well off to get a brand new car, but older cars are very well kept, and the sale of cars and that is quite a fast. There's quite a fast turnaround, isn't there, on it all, and whatever. So we ain't got no worries on that. So that's our plans for the future. And the van.
And this van. Reluctantly, very reluctantly, we've got to sell it.
We are going to try and sell it.
We're going to try and sell it.
And the only reason is because we are going to be away for over a year, and then we come back. From what we are planning, like when we come back, the van could be stored for another year.
Yeah.
So it's not going to do the van no good. We're going to try and sell it. If we don't, when we come back, maybe our plans will change and we'll use the van again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because, you know, in a year's time, again, we're coming back into the British winter. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe we go to 3 months or something, or go to Morocco. That was a destination that we were looking at.
Yeah, that was somewhere we wanted to go.
So maybe there's another trip in it yet, but for the meantime, we've done a lot of work.
We totally love it, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't really matter too much, does it?
No.
But if it does, then that's just another adventure for when we come back. Will we make a van ourselves?
Yes, because by the time we come back, we would have probably done at least one, maybe two, because when we go to New Zealand, we're going to have to. I'm not saying we're going to build a van, because obviously we're going to rock up in New Zealand and we're not going to have the tools to do it. You know, as much as I love our kids, they ain't handy people as a rule, and they haven't got a set of tools to do this sort of stuff with. Shane, you're pretty good at it, but you ain't got the stuff, so, you know, it don't matter.
Yeah, there'll just be a few little things we'll have to adapt to it, but that's something we have to think about there and then. But yeah. So, any downsides to living in a van, my love?
Other than when you need to find stuff, but out on the whole, no, not at all.
I'm just trying to think of something. There's got to be a downside, hasn't there? I think my only downside is when we're in the UK, I just find it all very stressful.
Yeah, yeah. So if you do not have the ability to get out of your van, weather more than not physical ability to get out of your van. You know, we're in some places where it rained for 3 days. That gets a little bit hard work.
So I think that's about it.
We probably waffled for far longer than we were gonna.
Yeah,
this is only going to be a short thing.
We hope anything that we've said has either struck a chord or been informative to any of you that are thinking of doing van life or have done it. Any tips and what have you, ask in the comments and we'll see what we can do. Enjoy it. Make the most of it for sure, because I tell you what, I don't know where the time goes when we're in the van.
Yeah.
It flies by.
It does. Yeah.
It flies by. When we were with our son, it didn't go so quick, did it? But when we're in the van, you know. Kevin says about doing your research, definitely about the van that you're doing and what have you, but also just take each day as it comes, you know. There's one thing about van life, it's okay that things change, your destination, your journey changes. It's okay, unless obviously you have to be there for a certain time. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy. Make the most of it. Make the most of the people that you come across, and the friends that you make. We've made such wonderful friends, really, really lovely people that we've come across. And yeah, it's not an end of an era. It's possibly the end of this van, but if not, it's fine. But we will be travelling for the next year or so.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Yeah.
Ring the bell.
And keep up with us on Insta as well.
Yep, on Instagram at Willow and Kevin. And that connects onto Facebook automatically. I don't overly go on Facebook too much. But yeah, it was really nice to spend some time with you guys. I really hope you enjoy our videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all our new subscribers. I can't remember the last time I looked, but it's up to like 1,400 subscribers, which is like wow. So thank you each and every one of you. So we'll see you again soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.